just afraid of being attacked. Happens to the best of us. Don't ever forget what happened to that French actor. You know what I'm talking about? Juicy Smouillet. He's a very famous French actor. Y'all never heard of Juicy Smouillet? Juicy Smouillet is an actor from France. And he became famous on a show called Empire. One night, he was in Chicago late at night and was the victim he was the victim of a racist and homophobic attack. You see, Juicy Smouillet is gay and he is black, not just French. Oh, it was a crazy story. Apparently, when he was walking down the street late at night, two white men came out of the shadows with MAGA hats on, beat him up, put some bleach on him, and ran off into the night.
Bye, have a great time.
International news. And everybody was furious, especially in Hollywood. It's all over everybody's Twitter feed and Instagram page. Justice for Juicy and all this shit. The whole country was up in arms. He was talking about it all the time on the news. And for some reason, African Americans, we were like oddly quiet. We were so quiet about this shit that the gay community started accusing African American community of being homophobic for not supporting him. What they didn't understand is that we were supporting him with our silence. Because we understood that this nigga was clearly lying. None of these details added up at all. He said he's walking down the street in Chicago and white dudes come up to him and say, "Hey man, aren't you that from Empire?" Does that sound like how white people talk? I know white people, they don't talk like that. They would never say that. It sounds like something that I would say. If you're racist and homophobic, you're not even gonna know who this nigga is. You can't watch Empire. Can you imagine if you was a police veteran taking this kid's police report? Okay, Mr. Smouillet, please tell me what happened. All right, 2 a.m. You left the house at 2 a.m. It's minus 16 degrees. All right. You were walking. All right. And where were you going? Subway. Sandwiches? That's when the men approached you? Did you see them? Do you have any? Okay, what do they have on? MAGA hats! MAGA hats on in Chicago? Excuse me one second, Mr. Smouillet. Frank, come here for a second. Find out where Kanye West was last night.
Here's this guy. A hug right here. Aha.
Popcorn World. Popcorn World.
Can I make you groove now? Yes, I can. So you can get this groove in a bag of a can. Put the big and rhyme world and the holes in your hand. Popcorn World. 250 flavors gonna make you smile. 250 flavors gonna make you smile. 250 flavors gonna make you smile. I said popcorn make you smile. Ah. Popcorn World. Popcorn World. Popcorn World. It's a popcorn world. The popcorn world.
What's that saying? Breaking down the rumor and smelling out. Speaking for the people who was around. Taking truth to power. The whisper and the shout. We're talking noise. Oh yeah. Talking noise. Hey yeah. Say it again. Say we're talking noise. Yeah. Talking noise. Really don't have time to fool around. Never noise keeps us lined up. When truth divine, the sound that you hear is the sound of success. We're talking noise. Oh yeah, talking noise. Yeah, picking up all the same. We're talking noise. Oh yeah. Talking noise. Say it again. We're talking noise.
Welcome to Talkin NOIZ, the daily podcast that brings you up to speed and keeps you informed about real issues affecting real people. With your host, Mr. Talkin NOIZ himself, Lloyd Spence. His beautiful wife, Mrs. Noise, Kenyatta Spence. The ever-informed Brother Noise, Alan Brown. And yours cordially, Uncle Noise, Shake Anderson. Come on in and join us as we reveal and opine today's most pressing issues. Real truth while having real fun. Talkin NOIZ is in your house right now. So sit back and enjoy Talkin NOIZ.
Somehow this was the number one show. I don't understand. Just a show about drama. Good times. Good times. Everybody likes it. Good times. Ain't we lucky we got 'em? Last day I go. Good times.
Yo, good people of Noise and beyond. We are here
We got so much to talk about. That's you. That's all you. I'm gonna let you straighten that out. I think your speakers are up too loud. I was thinking about this. Turn your speakers down. Let's see if that fixes the problem. In the meantime, I'm gonna open up the church. We need some church music today. White organs, if you don't mind, sir. My brother. And I ain't really kid y'all. Blacks are a little upset. They're not happy. So tonight we're gonna talk to the blacks so we can figure this thing out together. This ain't even a church service so much as it is a family meeting. So let's just figure this out together. So people can start feeling better about themselves. And what we don't need in the black community right now is all this tension and all this frustration. Okay? Let's come together. Let's work together. Let's be together. Talkin NOIZ. Thank you. Thank you, White Organ. Even White Organist came in a little frustrated today. He don't normally come in frustrated. Like he'll come in, busy from his day or something, but he don't come in like frustrated.
Mm-hmm.
So, rough, man. Rough. Turn your mic volume down. Let's see if that does it. Hey, Al B, it's good to see you, brother. Al B's in the house. I'm in the house. While they are getting adjusted and whatnot, we do have some church announcements.
I adjusted.
Okay, that's a little better. That's definitely better. Let me get the church announcements real quick. As you know, tonight is the night of, in case you missed it, Monday. And y'all see what the topic is gonna be, along with other stuff. We got some other stuff, but we definitely gonna dive into this because this broke on late Saturday night, right before, actually not even right before the show. While we were on the show, doing our thing with Uncorked Wine and that egregious tragedy of the top 10 show black sitcoms of all time, this happened. So two things went down that was egregious. Yeah, so we'll talk about that. Wednesday, the 5 is back, y'all. And they're going to give their opinion on it along with the college football playoffs and the NFL and the NBA. So a lot to discuss there on the 5. And then, of course, that's the wrong banner for Believe in the ACC. Believe y'all got to get the right banner. Send over the production. Send over the right banner. That's the wrong banner. I don't know how production messed that up. It's the Believe Awards. Send the one with the Believe Awards. There we go. That's it. Yes, the 3rd annual Believe in the ACC Awards is this coming Thursday. And so we're going to give out all our awards and talk about some other stuff, the transfers, the playoffs, all that good stuff. So please govern yourselves accordingly. Mama NOIZ, how you feel?
Am I okay?
Yes, there's a slight little echo, but it's not bad. I'll take that over to what you had before all day, every day.
Okay. I'm well.
I think your microphone is up too high. We're going to do this in real time. What is your microphone set to? And Noise Makers, y'all help Mama NOIZ. We're going to get this right.
I see where it says speaker and output.
Okay, do you see anything that says microphone?
Front microphone.
Yes. Turn that down. Let's see if we can turn that down.
Can you hear me now?
Turn it up a little bit more.
Can you hear me now?
Yep. Let's see. What is it set to, about medium?
About halfway mark.
That's where you need to keep it always. That sounds pretty good. All right,
Okay.
give Mama Noise a hand, everybody. Mama Noise. Mama Noise.
Oh my gosh, stop it.
All right. So you said you are well?
I am well. Yes, I'm well.
I like well. I like well.
I'm well because I don't like to bring up stuff and you be like, that wasn't on the program.
Well, listen, we're gonna get to the program. Just hold on, Slappy. Goodness gracious, you be jumping.
Pastor, can I be on program?
That's what it sounds like. You sound like that when you be jumping in.
Hey, put my name on the program.
My name on the program. It's my daddy. It's my daddy.
I just got a few words. Can I have a few words on program? Oh my gosh.
All right. What is it that you want to talk about? What is it you want to talk about?
Oh, I was just going to talk about Charlie Ward's documentary, but I guess y'all going to talk about that.
Well, that's actually going down right now.
Yeah, I know. I know. I said, well, maybe y'all going to talk about it on Thursday.
We are definitely going to talk about it on Thursday, but I got to see it. But I'm DVRing it, and I suggest if you near your TV and you got the ACC network, you DVR it as well. It's called.
Yeah, I was just going to suggest to the noisemakers to watch.
I was letting them know the name. Let me.
Oh,
you can't pause around Azeta. Azeta going to take your pause. That ain't a thing to snap. That's not a compliment.
That is a fact.
That is not a compliment, though.
Is it?
As I was about to say, the documentary is called Twice as Nice. And so it's on right now on the ACC network. So it's going to show again tonight at I think 11 p.m., 8 p.m. and 11 p.m. Eastern. So if you're not busy, go on and set the DVR so you can watch us and then go back and watch that later like I'm going to do. So there you go. You see the shirt the Bishop sent over to me? Bishop has just been taking care of your boy because I'm supportive. He knows how supportive I am. So he sent me a nice Juicy Smouye shirt. Y'all like that? And by the way, for those of you who don't know, Juicy Smouye is a very, very famous French actor who got in a little hot water because he was on a show called Empire. So
oh my gosh.
Shout out to Juicy Smouye. Juicy, got him crazy.
No.
All right.
I don't know why you said the Bishop sent that over to you personally. I'm just saying.
What? Don't hate me because me and the Bishop were close. Me and the Bishop was like this, son.
Hey, Catherine.
Hey, Cat. Hey, that's cousin. What's going on? Canada in the building.
Canada.
All right. Man, we got so much to discuss and get into. And we will here in just un momento. Un momento. But we just want to, we're taking our time and giving everybody a moment to get settled. You know, some people got, you know, when you come to the church, you gotta get settled in your pew, you gotta get comfortable, you gotta get your Bible set or your tablet. A lot of people use tablets in the modern churches. They don't even use paper Bibles no more. You know, so it's just, you know, just takes a second. I need some water. Definitely need some water.
Oh my gosh. Hey, Dion, did I say hey?
Delicioso.
Dion be keeping us on point about all the new movies and
What's
stuff.
Dion? It's because Dion is he's down with this noise life. That's all that is.
I mean, because it's so much stuff.
We need to. Should we sing a devotional song? I feel better, so much better since I laid my burden down. You know what? You know who needs a devotion? Kevin Cosby. He needs to sing devotions tonight.
Oh, wow.
Cleanse his whole soul. His soul ain't right.
He bared it all.
Well, he
to tell us how he really felt.
I don't know if he bared it all, but he did bear his dumb ass. I mean,
he told us how he really felt. You can't bear much more than that.
I ain't saying he buried it all, but he definitely buried his dumb ass. He buried his dumb ass.
Well,
so we're gonna get to that here in just a minute. We're gonna get to that in just a second. I want us. I guess we can start Mama Noise right at the top of the breaking news. There's a lot of stuff going on. I know the runoff is tomorrow, and people want to know what's going to happen with the runoff, and people want to know what's going to happen with this and that. But that ain't what Black America been talking about all the last 24 hours. 24
No,
hours.
that's not what Black America is talking about.
That is not what Black America's been talking about. There's been only one subject and one subject only that Black America has been discussing. That is it. It is at the top of every Black America list on the planet. And they say a picture's worth 1,000 words. So let's show you 1,000,000 words. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Coach Prime in Colorado, and he is taking a tour of his new facility. That's his baby. That's his new boo. Well, not new boo. They've been together for a long time. What's her name? Is that Tracy Edmonds? Is that her name?
Yeah, that's Babyface ex-wife.
Babyface ex-wife. Yeah, and she's just smiling like she said, "Oh, I am so happy to be here." There's Shador, or what I like to call him, the new starting quarterback. There's the new, I guess she's going to play ball in Colorado. That's the daughter. She looks just like her daddy, too. She don't look nothing like Pilar.
That's Pilar's daughter?
Yeah.
I forgot they had kids together.
Yeah, they got a bunch of kids together. So
okay.
So there they are, and they got the he's walking through the facility and seeing it. That was the workout areas. And now he headed on over to the meeting room. We about to be at the meeting with all the saints. Come on.
Oh, this is the sanctuary right here.
Yeah, that's the sanctuary. That's where he's gonna be preaching his messages.
That's right.
Matter of fact, I want to say he said something about that here. Can y'all hear this? Can y'all hear it?
No.
Okay, hold on. Let me pause it. Let me take it out. Hold on. And then bring it back so you can hear the sound. Because I didn't really hit the sound. So you can hear it. There you go. Now you can hear the sound. You should be able to hear the sound.
Well, his speakers are crazy. So we're about to preach in well, he's about to be preaching
Yeah. He said he's gonna bring an organist in. He can borrow right organist for the right price. I mean, you know. So this is what happened. Now, the irony of this video. Now, here's the part of the video that is probably the most significant portion of the video, and maybe the real reason why he did this.
Okay.
This is the linebackers meeting room.
Movable seating.
Goes hard. That's the linebackers coach right there.
Listen up,
Okay. Can we keep it a buck?
Yeah, let's go.
This room looks like where Sunday school is taught.
Well, that's what the linebacker room is. It's not the main room. It's like the side room where they have the side classes. You don't have all the members of the church in that room, Kieta. It's just a few members. The linebackers. That's why they call it.
I understand it. I'm just saying the big room looks like the main sanctuary, and then this one looks like Sunday school is.
That's what it is. So there it is. So that's what went down Saturday night. In case y'all don't understand what we're talking about, I'm sure you do by now. Mr. Deion Sanders accepted the position of head coach at the universities. Now, wait a minute now, cuz you can't do that now. We setting the stage at the universities of Colorado. Now, some people.
I didn't go off screen because.
Okay, all right, okay. So now some people were thrilled at that. Other people decided to show their whole entire ass. And the pastor, Kevin Cosby of the St. Stephen's Baptist Church in Louisville, Kentucky, had this to say on his Twitter account or Instagram. He said, and I quote, "I want Dion to fail." And by the way, Dion is spelled with an I. HBCUs are for the black masses, and Colorado is for the black classes. Carter G. Woodson has a whole chapter in The Miseducation of the Negro on black professionals leaving black institutions. He said this is a classic example of miseducation. Now, if you thought that he wasn't serious about his comments, ladies and gentlemen, he doubled down and went and decided to get into a back and forth on the Facebooks and the Twitters and the Instagrams with some of the peoples that was out here in the streets. Give me a second. The internet is moving like the internet moves. Okay. He decided to double down and triple down and give all of his feelings. So he started with that. Then he said he responded to somebody, and somebody said wanting him to fail is crazy. He said anyone or anything that diminishes black institutions, I want it to fail. And then he said, I wonder if white Americans are responsible for themselves when they get FHA and veteran benefits that blacks were excluded from. And Roosevelt and Truman gave them a deal and a fair deal while black America got a raw deal. We are dealing with the consequences of the missed deal today. And he said Jackson State experienced an artificial bump because of the Dion star power. And once again, Dion is spelled with an I. HBCUs are sanctioned more than anyone by SACS accreditation because of the lack of resources for sustainability. And HBCUs, like Black America as a whole, need and deserve reparations. I want all forms of white supremacy to fail. Colorado using their power and wealth to extract from an HBCU the little we got is a classic case of white power domination, and I want it to fail. And then Twitter lit his ass up. And so then he decided to issue an official statement. And the official statement went something like this. And I'm not reading the whole thing because the issue is long. He said recently on Twitter, I made the comment that I hope Dion said, there's the I. Dion Sanders fails is in his move from HBCU Jackson State University to the University of Colorado Boulder. My statement was not intended to disparage or to wish ill will upon Dion on a personal level. Not really sure how you can say that when you literally said you wanted the man to fail. When I said I hope he fails, I was using he in the plural sense, not in the singular. Then the he I was referring to is the entire system of inequity that prevents black institutions such HBCU from competing with predominantly white institutions. I know from personal experience the impact that the Dion effect has upon HBCUs. I am blessed to be the only president in American history to restore an HBCU from the ground up. Let's see. When Dion told his players in his farewell address that coaches were either terminated or elevated, such language buys into the notion that leaving predominantly black space to work in predominantly white spaces is an elevation. It's not what he said, but let's move on. Such language, it reinforces the myth of white supremacy and black inferiority. And even if Dion meant that the elevation to Colorado is a financial and visibility elevation for him, that begs the question, why can't black institutions experience the same type of elevation? And the answer lies in the resource and wealth disparity that exists between the black and white community. Then he decided to educate us on the things that we didn't know. Black people are 13% of the population, but possess less than 3% of the wealth in the United States. White Americans are 60% of the population and control 90% of the wealth. We're not going to read all that because that's a lot. Then he talks about Jim Crow. Then he says, as a black man who lived my entire adult life in the poorest black community, and you have not lived your entire adult life in the poorest black community. But it goes on and goes on and goes on. But you get the gist. So there you go. So that was his apology. So now there are many who feel in alignment with Reverend Kevin Cosby and some that don't. But here we are to talk about it. This is a safe space, so people feel free to say what you feel in this space. We are here. We are ready. Let's go. Now, I think it is only fitting that we start this conversation with the one person that this probably affected the most, which is our resident Mississippian, Cuz Noise. So, Cuz, take it away. You muted, sir. You muted. You got to unmute so the people can hear what you got to say.
Are you messy by design?
I'm not messy. I'm trying to set the stage, man.
What the waka flocka are you trying to do here?
I'm trying to set the stage for a wonderful discussion.
Jackson State affected me. I'm neither poor nor am I in Mississippi.
Well, why would you know your affinity and affection for the?
It was a messy ass statement. Now let me say what I got to say.
Okay, well, just say that then, and leave all the other shit you were saying. Ooh, man, somebody came in a little hostile, but it's fine.
I would never wish anyone failure. You can take me off the screen like that. That's not necessary either.
Why would you try to give you?
I would never wish failure to anyone. In fact, I wish the man success. As a black man, as a coach, I hope and pray that he succeeds.
Oh, because Ron said I misinterpreted what you were trying to say earlier, thus earning myself the new drop. So I think he's probably right. There you go. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Having said that, I believe what he did was problematic, wrong, and it will have an impact on HBCUs for a long time to come. Because you did not sell Jackson State on just championships. Jackson State hadn't won a championship in quite some time, but they've won them before. So you coming to Jackson was not just about championship. You made the statement to Jackson and to Jackson State and to black people as a whole that I'm going to change the game, that I'm going to make sure that HBCU are now looked upon as possibilities for our young black men coming out of high school to go to HBCUs to get exposure and not have to run to the white schools for exposure. Go to HBCUs for top facilities and money and not have to run to white schools for top facilities and money. In other words, you saw a problem, and the problem exists then and it exists now. You saw a problem, and you told us that the Lord, your God, sent you to solve the problem.
That's what he said.
So therefore, we then buy into that you are here not just for Jackson State. See what Deion Sanders had. He had fans of black people from Grambling, Jackson State, Alcorn, Mississippi Valley State, Alabama. It didn't matter. Black people all over were seeing what he was doing and hopeful that he would stay long enough to see it through, that it would affect all of our HBCUs. Because that's really what we bought into, that young blacks could come to black schools and get scholarships. Young black can come to black schools and go into the NFL, and they don't have to run to the white. And now we're going to make the white schools look at our black youth differently. That was really the whole. It was never about 2 championships. Who gives a fuck about 2 championships when there was a movement to change the game? 5 years from now, when we come back to 2021 we look back to 2022, and somebody asks you who won the championship in 2021 SWAC and who won the championship in 2022 SWAC, nobody will give a damn. So the goal was not championships.
True.
The goal was to change the game for our people. And you can't change a game that's been in place for 50 years in 2 years.
Well, now he has a response for you now, cuz. Would you like to hear that response?
I want to hear your response. I don't give a damn what he has to say.
Well, I think it's only fair.
What he's had to do.
Well, hold on now.
I understand.
I would like the man to have an opportunity to speak on his own behalf. So let's let him speak on his own behalf. Here we go.
You've made a tremendous impact in the HBCUs. I guess how difficult was the decision to leave what you started there?
Tremendous. Because it wasn't about the X's and O's or the wins and losses. It was about those kids. It was about looking at the faces of those kids, knowing that I'm being ready. God is getting ready to elevate me. I'm sorry. God is getting ready to elevate me. Usually a coach is terminated or elevated. Thank God I'm elevated. But still, the journey is not complete. Some of the things that we accomplished there about bringing understanding and notoriety to certain falsities or non-committal things that are done in Power Fives. Maybe God is using me to be a catalyst to make you think and to make you just fathom another way to make us feel unthreatened when someone of other ethnicity is approaching. To just make us feel good about today. Maybe God is really using me to open doors at this level. The thing that alarms me the most is just because I'm leaving Jackson, they think that I'm leaving African American. I don't know if you notice or not, but I'm black. I can never leave who I am, what I am, and how I go about being that. So it's still my task to look in that locker room and see 65 to 70% of African American men trying to help them get to the next level, as well as all the others. My calling is for young men, young women, and people of all walks of life, all social climates, and all ethnicities. That's my calling. My calling is not built on a location. It's built on a destination. Now that was good. You're supposed to clap for that. All right, that was good. You can some of my good stuff. We just getting started. I already went in the bag, baby. Let's go.
So that's his response to what you and many others have said, that he didn't finish the job.
I couldn't the echo was too strong. Did you guys hear the echo? No?
You guys heard it. It was slight echo.
Didn't allow him to come through clearly.
Okay. Well, basically, he said his calling is God has elevated him, because in this game, you either elevated or terminated. And God has now elevated him, and his calling is still to black kids, the 60% black kids at Colorado, and all the kids at Colorado, to help them get to the next level as well. But he's still black, and the mission is not complete, is what he said.
If anyone questioned his blackness, they are fools. See,
and they have.
I don't hate on Deion Sanders.
Yeah.
I don't call into question his commitment to youth. He has proven that for many, many years.
Yeah.
That he's committed to black youth in particular.
Very much so. Both of us having lived in Texas and watched him mentor young kids in Texas for years. With these very same coaches. We would never question that. No. There's a couple of different things that have happened here. And since you asked my opinion, I'll go ahead and start.
It's about time. It's about time.
It's about time. The first thing I'm going to say is to our African American community, y'all are idiots. Some of y'all are idiots. And the reason why I say that is because...
Hold.
No. You said you want me to talk? Let me talk.
Hold, man. Hold now. You sound like Ricky Smiley or some goddamn body. What do you mean?
I need you to be quiet. Let me finish, sir. Thank you.
You said y'all idiots.
I said some of y'all, some idiots. And here's what I mean. And I'm speaking specifically to everybody who's calling him a sellout and the Uncle Tom and all the other little. Y'all don't understand. First of all, that's too far. That's way too far. That man has done more for African American youth and African American men and women in the last 5 years than some of y'all have ever done in your whole entire life. So what we're not going to do is go to the extreme with this. Now, if you feel a way about him leaving Jackson State, that's fair. But the name calling and the calling him out on Twitter and Instagram, that's too far. And we got to stop doing the dumb stuff. Let me also address Kevin Cosby directly. And it doesn't matter to me if somebody want to go back and tell him, man, he's more than welcome to come to this platform and have a discussion with us. But you went too far, sir. To say that you hope that man fails, and then you try to walk it back with an official statement. No, way too far. Way over the line. Way over the line. That's too far. And unnecessary. You can address, if you want to address white institutions coming in and snatching the black man away, that's fine. That's fair. But to say that you want this man to fail because you in your feelings, too far. Now, to the specifics of the circumstances at hand. I am disappointed that he left, but not necessarily for the exact same reason that everybody else is. I'm disappointed because I thought and still think that HBCUs are in a moment that change can take place. I'm of the opinion that we had the opportunity, and by the way, I still think we have the opportunity to not wait on somebody to rescue our situation as it relates to HBCUs, but to rescue our own situation as with HBCUs. And while it would have been nice to see Dion take the lead with that because he was already in position and already had built the momentum and already doing great things at that institution and for all HBCUs as a whole, the whole plan is still not lost. It's only lost if you only see him as the only savior of this situation. And here's the other part, and this is where it's going to get a little tight for some of y'all. Black people, we have to stop looking for Martin Luther King still, because I've had time to think about this now. We have to stop looking for the next Martin Luther King. That's not what we need. What we need is to stand up together, come together, and start planning and changing things together. The MEAC could easily have a meeting this evening with the SWAC and say, hey, man, how can we make our situation better than this? I crunched some numbers today, cuz. And I said to myself, Self, and Self said, huh, what you talking about? What you talking? And I said, Self, I wonder how much could individual millionaire black people donate to HBCUs on a yearly or every other year basis and it not really truly effective. I said if at minimum, because there's about what we're talking MEAC and SWAC, what are we talking? Maybe 20 teams total, maybe. You muted out.
I said if that.
If that, right? So why couldn't a couple of our well-to-do or us in general, as general population, come together and let's see how we can get them $1 million for y'all to school. We're only talking about 20 million at best to help upgrade some of those facilities right now. Then let's see those two conferences come together, because there's really no logical reason why the SWAC and the MEAC are not together, other than blind tradition. Put those two entities together. Let's create a commissioner for the whole thing, and then let's go after improvements as a whole to those conferences and upgrade those facilities. Bring in somebody with a cachet that can help bring in the money, like maybe a Shaquille O'Neal. Thought about that. I said, man, Shaquille's already got a lot of those corporate relationships in place already. So it'd be a natural transition if it'd be something that he'd be interested in doing, for him to step into that role or to be a part of a board of directors that would aid the SWAC and the MEAC to come together and change their lot in life. My point is very simple. This does not have to be the end. It could be the start of something great. But am I disappointed that Dion is not going to be a part of it? Yes, I am. That's my thoughts.
Mama Noise. What you got?
Al B.
I'll go. And I am neither a member of St. Stephen's Christian Church.
The Christian Church was Baptist. I'm sorry.
Nor they used to. Nor do I know Dr. Kevin Cosby personally. But what I do know of him is he is a very caring individual, especially when it comes to HBCUs, because he is the president of the oldest HBCU in the state of Kentucky, which is Simmons College of Kentucky. And he did revitalize that institution, where so many of our HBCUs are struggling, have one foot on a banana peel and the other in the grave. So too was Simmons. So I can understand his personal attachment to the HBCUs and how he feels betrayed by Deion Sanders and his decision to leave the HBCUs and go toward a PWI, especially after us as a people have listened for the last 36 months how important it is for young Black men and young Black women athletes to consider HBCUs.
Yeah.
He convinced the #1 recruit in the nation to come to an HBCU over a Power 5 or PWI institution. And I suspect here in the next 24 to 48 hours, we'll see that young man on the cover of a Twitter page with a Colorado University logo and everything else. May be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I commend Deion Sanders for accepting a better offer. It's definitely better financially. I don't know how it is professionally. I mean, they are a 1-11 team, have not been relevant since 2001, 2002. However, his promise was for us to do this thing collectively. And we feel like he was the captain of the ship. And he led us out on a voyage. And he knew the journey, the directions that this ship was going to go. And then he jumped ship. And now we are left trying to figure out how to get this thing back on course. Can it be done? Absolutely. Is it likely to take much, much, much longer now? Absolutely. So I understand people's anger personally. I don't understand how they could be angry for him making that decision professionally. I even have a relative who posted on her Facebook page that he is establishing generational wealth for his family. But that's not what you went in the living room and told these parents of these young, talented Black athletes. yes, if your son goes to Alabama, he's probably going to be set financially more so than he would if he comes to Jackson State. That's what he told. That's not what he told those families. He told them, let me groom your child. I'll get him there. Because it's going to mean more to the community, to the culture. And I feel like we were betrayed. And what we have to do is stop, please stop putting men of God, pastors, preachers, bishops, stop putting them up on a pedestal. They are not infallible. They are not perfect beings. They are humans. They have emotions just like we do. Now, does it do the ministry a disservice to exemplify that? Absolutely. But it's no different than preacher out, or man of God out screwing all the women in the church. It's unfortunate that he let his emotions get out in front of him. I don't fault him for what he said, because I know that he has a deep emotional tie to HBCUs. And I know, not directly, but someone who knows directly the financial sacrifices that he's personally made to help save Simmons and Kentucky State University. So I understand his hurt, his feelings of betrayal. It's unfortunate that he chose the words that he did.
Yeah.
Because, I feel the same way like I do with every coach that leaves the University of Louisville.
Right.
I don't wish them success at their next endeavor. I don't want them to fall ill and not be able to coach. But I didn't want to see Texas go undefeated and win the national championship.
Right.
So, but that's me as a fan, as a person. So, but I don't wish Deion failure. I just wish that he would have endured a little bit more. And for him to say that coaching, you're either elevated or terminated, that's not true.
It's a lie.
It's not true at all. No, you will probably never see another Eddie Robinson. But there are Dabo Sweeneys out there. There are 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 year. That's just in football. Look at Jim Boeheim at Syracuse in basketball. So, you can have long careers in coaching. So,
Mama Noah.
I'm sorry, I was.
No, that was great, Al. That was fantastic. Fantastic. That was fantastic.
I was very disappointed because I felt like with him doing the things that he was doing at Jackson State, it was spearheading a movement. And, dare I say that him being at Jackson State influenced, is it Eddie George?
Yeah. Over at TSU.
Over at TSU.
State. Yeah.
To take a step of faith and, become a coach there. And then I was thinking, wow, how many other coaches that are, or players that have coached or had the desire to coach, and they could just as easily be in the NFL, would take a step of faith and be football coaches or basketball coaches for these HBCUs that are trying to be dinosaurs. They're trying to trying to, every time you hear before Dion was at Jackson State, all you kept hearing about was the negative stuff about HBCUs in the news. I mean, they were talking about the rats and roaches and stuff down at what was it, Howard or one of the schools, Howard or Morehouse, one of them, and how the housing was so bad, the students were sleeping outside. I mean, come on. That's what we heard about HBCUs. And then when the kids are trying to decide where they want to go, that's what they have to reference. Their reference point is the stuff they hear in the news about how bad it is or how bad a shape these schools are in, that they're falling apart and stuff. Come on. I really felt like in my heart of hearts, I was so disappointed because, I mean, I get it. I get it because somebody on Facebook put a post up talking about half of y'all, if you got a $5 raise, would leave the job you own to go get that job for the $5 increase, or some job you were offered and they offered you a bonus or something, a sign-on bonus, you would walk away from your job without a second thought. But I'm like, this is not that. This, to me, I felt like was a movement that was going to inspire. And it was inspiring. Like I said about the Eddie George part, inspired him. And no telling how many others was on deck to be inspired to step forward and be the next coach for the different HBCU football teams and basketball teams and just sports. And I feel like he just pulled the plug and said, they offer me more. And I mean, I get it. They offered you more. This is a big step for you. But I just don't feel like, from all the different interviews I heard, and maybe I didn't hear them all, but it sounded like you kept saying, I ain't going nowhere. And, you kept misleading people that, ain't nothing wrong with listening and stuff. And I hear that, but it didn't sound like you were trying to entertain it. You listened, but you wasn't really trying to, no action was really going to happen from all of your people trying to offer you money or offer you things to come to their school or whatever. It sounded like you were just totally committed. And I felt like you influenced a city, man. You was walking around in the community and stuff. People believe in you. You got when they start having water problems, don't tell them how long that water problem would have still kept going on, but you dug your boots, your heels in and helped move that along to help change something, and let's change this and change that. And I work with the mayor so we could change. And then it's like, oh, I did all that. I'm glad y'all saw the example. I hope it was a blueprint. I'm out. I just feel disappointed. That's all. I don't wish ill will. I'm not trying to say all that negative stuff like that. I don't want that. But I feel for the community. I feel for all of the fans. I feel for the players that got left behind that were like, they couldn't just jump in the tunnel or the portal. They couldn't just jump in the portal or whatever, and didn't have the means to be able to say, well, I'm gonna follow you, coach, or whatever. Like, they didn't have that. You just left. So I feel disappointed.
That's fair.
And might I add, because I did listen to Ricky Smiley this morning, and he's supposed to be releasing, I guess he's got some sort of spinoff of his show, Unleashed or something like that. And he's going to discuss in greater detail. But he said this morning.
He did already.
Oh, did he? Okay.
Who is this? Dion had something?
Ricky Smiley.
Ricky Smiley.
Oh, I haven't heard it. Okay.
During his show this morning, he said that did Jackson State make him a counter offer? Did anybody, the chancellor, anybody in the SWAC, make him a counter offer?
Well,
we all knew going in that there was nothing financially they could do to compete,
right,
with a PWI, a Power 5. We knew that going in, and Mr. Primetime himself, for the first 26, 28 months of his tenure at Jackson State said it's not about the money. It was never about the money.
Right.
And it wasn't until here recently in the last 6 months that he started that spin about I'd be a fool not to entertain, because we were convinced that this was an assignment
from the Lord.
God. Quote, end quote.
That's what he said.
So
it
wasn't about the money, because everybody with any common sense knew that not only Jackson State, but the SWAC in its entirety couldn't compete financially with any contract that Power 5 school could offer him.
And the money argument to me is mute. It's a foolish argument, because Deion Sanders' salary was not coming just from Jackson State. So he was making money outside of the $300,000 that Jackson State was paying him. Deion Sanders has been making money, as he says proudly, I've been making money for a long time.
Right.
My lifestyle's not going to change no matter where I go.
Yeah.
If you feel so, I mean, you sold us on all this. You told us all this. That I already got it. I'm here to help.
Mm-hmm.
Now, once you convince Black people that you're here to help, then they're gonna hold you to that, because they have been so. It's my hometown. I can say what the hell I want to say. They've been so depressed. Not about winning Jackson State, but about hope.
Just in general.
Leaving.
Yeah.
About seeing a pathway out of where they are. He was bringing hope. So when you take away hope, then you're going to get an emotional response from people. Now, everybody that's spitting on social media and saying what they're saying, the hatred and their vitriol, don't really mean it, but they have been emotionally impacted, because he literally pulled the rug from under them.
Yeah. If there was a mistake, and I think there was, I think the biggest mistake was the Lord said rhetoric. You can't say that to Black people and we don't take that serious. We take, when you say the Lord said to us,
facts.
We take that very seriously. Like, listen, remember that commercial, E.F. Hutton? The Lord said is the equivalent of E.F. Hutton.
Facts.
The Lord said, we all in now. We want to hear what the Lord said, because we're leaning, as the old song, we leaning on the Lord anyhow, because we believe that's our only way out. So the problem with what he said is that you positioned yourself as a savior when you probably did not have that aspect of it completely figured out yourself. Probably should have done that. And I think he will look back at that as a failure, because that part is a failure for sure.
Just look at the fact that most of you on this here podcast didn't even know who in the hell Jackson State was.
Yeah, I always got it confused with Jacksonville State.
Some of you niggas on here, I said it just the way I wanted to say it, would say Jacksonville State.
Right.
Who the hell is Jacksonville State?
That's another school.
He brought attention where there was nothing but darkness. Now, I'm saying that just the way I'm saying it, and it's real.
Yeah. And that's a problem.
Dark clouds over that city. And he brought hope. And then to take $5 million and leave, but then come up with this bullshit about you still gonna help.
I let them have what do you say? I let them have the rest of my salary or something like that. It's like,
by the way, let me say this too. This is because this is fair. I know he said in his meeting what he had with the players, oh, I'm lobbying for TC. And TC, I believe, is a young man who was there before he got there, stayed on the staff, and he's kind of been mentoring him the last 3 years. Let me be very clear, and this is no disrespect to TC, but this is just the reality. TC can't be the next coach.
No.
You can't have fed people lobster and shrimp and king crab legs for 3 years and then say, well, going back to hamburger helper.
But you know what? They're probably not gonna have no other choice.
No, and see that's where I'm a little conflicted because you do have a choice. Y'all could now the challenge is the next person gotta have the same, maybe not the same mission statement and all that nonsense that Dion had, but they gotta have the same understanding of what Jackson State itself is trying to accomplish. So there are some coaches out there. Now, the salary is the part that if we're being honest, that's the problem. Because whoever the next named coach that comes in, they got to be able to do that part and say, I'm coming because I want to continue the movement, not because I'm trying to get a big check. And the problem with that is that you've set that position up when you do it that way as a revolving door.
I sure wish I knew his endorsement income.
Well, we don't know the endorsement income, but I'm sure we can net worth the dude.
It says $4 million.
Oh no, he's well worth more than $4 million.
I would like to know his endorsement income.
Okay, so this says that his net worth in 2022 was $45 million. So that's probably so subtract the.
I think so. Okay, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so he's done well this year in endorsements. The Affleck commercial alone is probably worth of 10-15 million.
That's my point. So the $5 million a year, that's not a reason to leave.
Right. So his stated reason for leaving, the one that I probably believe more than anything, and that's why we led with the video that we showed, was those coaches that have been coaching with him for 20 years. They have never made any of that money. And so he said, if I have the opportunity to be a blessing for them, I'd be a fool. Now, that's the real quote. If I have an opportunity to be a blessing for them, I'd be a fool not to listen to at least that opportunity because they have never had the opportunity to make that kind of money.
Can I ask a question? Yes. Did anyone else hear the interview? I didn't hear the whole interview. I really couldn't stomach the whole interview. But I did hear the part from Colorado's, is it AD? They're athletic.
Maybe. I don't know.
We don't have the money yet.
Talking about what? Talking about the $5 million?
Yeah, they don't have the $5 million yet, but they'll have it or something like that. And I was
they'll have the money.
I'm like, okay, first of all,
I haven't heard that, but them having the money to do what they need to do is not a problem.
What was the length of the contract? Is that even been discussed?
It was hold on, they said it in the chat.
No, that's his Jackson State contract.
Oh, I thought it was 4 years.
No, that was his Jackson State.
That was his Jackson. I just said it was his Jackson State contract.
Yeah, but I thought the one in Colorado was 4 years as well.
I don't know.
Oh no, I haven't heard that, Mama Lord. The Denver Post has it. It is a total of $29.5 million. It looks like. Hold on, it's slowly coming up. 5 years, 29.5 million pending
incentives.
I'm sure incentives are tied to it, but also board approval. Yeah, but depending on board of Regents approval, which that was done before they made the offer. He'll make 5.5 in the first season plus incentives, like Al said, because it'll be supplemented by radio, TV, public appearances, promotion, and fundraising, and another 1.5 million in development of the student athlete. And then the compensation increases to 5.7 in 24, 5.9 in 25, 6.1 in 26, and 6.3 in 27.
Okay.
So it's a little bit about the money.
I'm just now, the last person that came to Colorado, the state of Colorado, because of a lump sum of money that they were offered, named Russell Wilson, is really struggling.
Boy, you're starting to sound like Kevin Costner. You saying
what?
This man gonna struggle?
He's struggling since he said yes to the contract and he got the money. He's struggling.
Who's struggling?
Russell Wilson.
Russell Wilson.
Well, listen.
I'm just saying this is Colorado. I'm just saying.
Well, but he didn't leave a black institution. He left the whiter area to go to another white area. Ron Nolan said, "Thank you, Dion, for the blueprints. Will we black people use this blueprint to build success, or just treat this as a normal movement? Something we got excited for in the moment, and then we left once he left." And that's really the question.
Well, I have an answer to that question.
Okay.
Oh, I'm through.
He had the opportunity. When you spoke, Mr. Noiz, you talked about how we can move forward. Mm-hmm. You gave us other options of how the MEAC and the SWAC and the MDAC and the CAT can all come together,
right,
and make this thing work. Those are other options. He had the blueprint and was doing it. Listen, I believe in my hearts of hearts. Can't prove it now because the some bitch left. But I believe in my hearts of hearts. If he had stayed, because remember now, there was a bunch of talk about Power 5. Power 5 gonna take you. Power 5 gonna pull you. So right. I believe money was being held back because no one was sure what he was going to do. If he had proven another year, past all that talk, because we knew the money was going to be offered to him, if he had done on another Jackson State cap and say, "I'm here to see the mission through," I believe black folks would have stood up with him. And it's hard to get black folks to stand and do any goddamn.
That's facts.
But I believe we would have stood with him and money would have come in because he would have said, "I was offered, but I'm here to see this mission through."
Well, I'll even take that a step further. I think they were just waiting on him to say those exact words. Like, even if he hadn't have done it, if he just would have said it, if he'd have just put it out in the universe and let people know, no, I am committed to the whole, but I need help. Because here's the reality. Bro, you got celebrities coming to Jackson State to go see a football game.
Jackson barely got a decent hotel for them celebrities to stay in, but they were still coming.
They were still coming to come hang out in Jackson and see what you had going on.
Oh my gosh.
And I think they would have gone wherever you had led them.
Yes.
So that's the part that is frustrating. I'm gonna tell you something. Now I'm gonna go a way that maybe y'all didn't expect me to go.
Okay.
This is probably the most egregious part of the whole thing. And I wish Dr. Cosby would have said it this way, because I think this is what he meant.
Okay.
Instead of going the "I hope he fail" way. This is probably what he really meant in his heart. Legacies are not built by what you won. Legacies are built by what you did.
Come on, sir.
Bobby Bowden's legacy is not because he won a national championship. I don't even remember the national championship that he won and what years he won it in. And frankly, I don't care. But here's what I do remember about Bobby Bowden. I remember all the young men that still talk about to this day how he was a father to them, how he mentored them and led them to love Jesus Christ and to be great men in their homes, how he mentored them to be great athletes and told them and gave them the work ethic and the blueprint to be great in what they did. That's what I remember. And I know that because one of the guys that is one of his biggest mentees does a podcast with me every week. That's what we were hoping. I think that's why this hurts so much.
Right.
Because we thought we were getting that Dion. And that's not what we got. And for whatever reason, and by the way, it's his choice. You don't have to be that guy.
Absolutely.
If you don't want to be that guy. That's
Absolutely.
his choice. But
Absolutely.
you sold us like you were that guy.
Facts.
So, and here's the other problem with it. Ooh, we going there. Ooh, we about to go there. Y'all ain't ready for this part. Here's the other part that bothers us. When you say this to a community that has already been let down by absentee fathers, that has already been let down by broken black homes, that have already been let down by egregious educational systems and stuff like that, it hurts to be let down again.
Facts.
So that's why this is bothersome.
And he was where the rubber meets the road. He knows just what you just said.
Yeah.
He was there. So he knows how desperate they were as a people to have hope.
Yeah.
You know what? I know you guys are the sports guys, and you guys know sports better than I do. But I'm gonna just tell you, when this happened, first thing I thought about, I'm from Louisville, Kentucky, and the first thing I thought about was Charlie Strong.
Oh man, great example, Mama Noah. Great example. And for those who don't know why that's a great example, because Charlie Strong, and Al, you can back me up on this, basically came in and spit the exact same rhetoric, minus the Jesus talk, but he was the same dude. I'm going to mentor these young black men. I'm going to be like a father to them. This is a family and blah, 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 blah. And we're going to go as far as the blah, 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 blah. And the next thing you know, he was on a plane to Texas.
He had gassed up our city, the city of Louisville. There were billboards all over the city calling it starting with strong, card strong and everything strong, and there was going to be a movement. It was another movement.
I don't think it was going to be one, Mama Noise. I think it was one.
I mean, I'm saying it felt similar.
You're right, Uncle Benny. You're right, Uncle Benny. Let me say this too. I also 1000% agree with this statement by Uncle Benny. And this is the part that really also makes it bad. It's not just that he's leaving. He's stripping that team. He is absolutely going to strip that team. He's already taken Shador, the 2-time SWAC player of the year, who was the starting quarterback. He's gone. His other son, Shiloh, is gone, who was the starting safety for that team. The number one recruit that Al B was talking about a minute ago, Travis Hunter, he's probably gone. He's probably going with Dion. The number one receivers, some of the linebackers, he's going to strip that team. So the JSU that won 2 times back-to-back SWAC championships, it won't look like that next year. So you actually made their situation worse.
I've said that over and over today as I talk to different people about it. You left the situation worse than what you found.
Yeah.
Because it was one thing to be lacking hope for so many years. But once you give people hope, you can't take that back so quick. You made it worse.
Yeah.
So the depression is now worse.
Can I ask you a question? Because here's the question that I would love to ask Dion. I'm not trying to make him feel guilty. I'm just curious. Why would you want to take that back? That's the question I have. Why would you want to take that back from that community? You got to know that you just broke this community's heart, like ripped it to shreds. You have to know that. And there's no way to spin that. You can't spin that.
Listen.
Yeah, they cheered for you Saturday because, it was just rumor.
Yeah.
Right? It was just rumor. Now, those of us in the know and how we understand how the world works and how the sports world works, we understood Friday night that this was going to happen. But The reality is the community as a whole still held out hope. Well, maybe it's just rumor. It was rumor last year when they were talking about these other schools, and he turned them all down. So maybe it's rumor again this time.
Yeah.
So you gotta know.
And they were holding out hope based on what he said.
Based on what he said.
Not based on his contract. No, nobody cares about that. Based on what he was selling them, they held out hope that this man is serious about changing the game.
Yeah. This isn't jilting a bride at the altar. This is being married to someone for 3 years and then coming home and saying, I'm leaving you for another woman.
Oh.
And if I can be real honest, oh gosh. Oh man, I can't believe I'm about to say this. This is the equivalent of a black man coming home to a black woman and saying, I'm leaving you for a white woman.
Oh.
Now I know that's hardcore. I know it is. But that's how it's gonna be perceived. Am I wrong? That's why Kevin Cosby said what he said. That's why he said it. Because it hurts, man. It hurts on that level.
But then you come back with your statement to prove how black you are, even though you just left her for a white woman. To prove how black you are, you're going to come back with a statement. I'm still going to help black people and black people. I'm still going to raise my kids.
I'm still going to raise my kids.
Exactly.
Or I still find black wowomen attractive.
Right. There you go.
I mean, I'm just saying that's what it feels. Am I way off on my analogy? Because that's what it's going to be perceived as. You broke this black woman's heart, and it's the old Kanye line. And when he get on, he leave your ass for a white girl. That's what it feels like. And again, it's your choice. It is your choice. It hurts. And I want to answer Pastor Cord, the official pastor of Noise Media and Entertainment. Is there no coach who can take the baton and keep hope alive? The answer to that is maybe. Maybe. Oh, here come Ron coming in hot. Ron said, "What's the difference between Deion, the pastor, and the pimp?"
Oh my gosh! Of course.
I would like to answer Pastor Cole too.
Okay, I'm gonna say that possibly, but again, it's gonna be tricky because they gotta have they will not have the personality. That's a one of one. But they could have the football acumen and the reputation to recruit and possibly make impact. That could possibly happen. There are a couple of names that I've thought about, and I'm saying maybe.
The answer is hell no.
Well,
and here's why: because it didn't happen before. We don't have to guess. We don't have to guess at it. And here's why: it didn't happen before. Did what?
Well, but
hold on.
Yeah.
The key is Eddie Robinson was a damn good coach.
Oh yeah.
But nobody really knew Eddie Robinson outside of the black community. No, he was not a mover and a shaker. He did not change the game for HBCUs the way Deion Sanders could have because of his access to resources. Man, Eddie Robinson was down in Grambling, down there in the woods. Grambling was best known for their band, not their football team. Oh yeah. I'm telling you the truth. I
disagree with that.
I'm telling you the truth.
Well,
now,
hold on.
There are some great players from Grambling that have gone pro.
Right.
He didn't have the ability to elevate it the way that Deion Sanders was elevating it because of his success in life, his stardom, his personality. He was able to draw a lot more. Eddie Robinson was a teacher. Deion Sanders is a showman.
Listen, I don't disagree with anything you're saying other than this. if Eddie Robinson doesn't, because I can argue, and I think I would have a significant argument. Eddie Robin may be the singular reason, and now some people that are historical HBCUs would completely argue with me, but I don't think I'm that far off. Eddie Robinson may be the singular greatest reason why HBCUs stayed relevant throughout, especially coming into the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. It was Eddie Robinson. Because you didn't know any other HBCU coaches really, unless you were doing a deep dive into HBCUs and you were ingrained into the culture of HBCUs. You didn't know anybody besides Eddie Robinson. Matter of fact, the first name you thought of when you thought of HBCUs was Eddie Robinson. So he kept them afloat. Is my point. You're right.
And I contend that him being known took years to get there.
No question about it.
Deion Sanders was there from day one, and he was already known.
Yeah. No, you're 1,000% correct in that regard.
Eddie Robinson was respected because of his longevity.
No, I don't disagree with
He
that.
stayed down there in them woods. I don't know if y'all know how country Grambling is, but
for sure,
country.
For sure, we know. Yeah.
It's not a Jackson State. It's not in a city. It's down there in them woods.
Yeah. Listen again from a now. Here's the other side. I'm just trying so we can have a balanced conversation a little bit. So what if you couldn't live up to the standard he set, and in a few years they start just being average? Will you be able to get more black kids in the NFL at Colorado than Jackson State?
What was that question? One more again. I'm sorry.
He said, "What if he couldn't live up to the standard he set, and in a few years they start just being average? Will he be able to get more black kids in the NFL at Colorado than at Jackson State?"
Yes, he will be able to get more kids into college through Colorado than he would from Jackson State. But the movement was never just about Jackson State.
Right.
That's what's key. We didn't want every black great football player to go to Jackson. No.
Right. So there's a couple of questions going on in there. Let me address them all. One, the Colorado's in the Pac-12, Dion, so he won't be at the SEC yet. Now that may be part of the long-term plan. We'll see. But he's going to the Pac-12. Right now, currently, there are 11 black head coaches in the NCAA Division 1A. There are 11.
11 and a half.
Who's half?
Deion Branch was named interim.
Oh, that's right. 11 and a half. We'll see what happens. I mean, we'll see what happens. To answer S-Dot's question, of course, he's going to get it. The path from Colorado is probably easier than the path from Jackson State. Although we don't know. He wasn't at Jackson State long enough for us to understand if it was or not. So I don't know, maybe. But
yeah, he's not had a full recruiting class.
Right.
I mean, in today's standards, he has 3 years is pretty much the limit. But truly, he's not had a full recruiting class to matriculate through Jackson State University. So,
right. So it's really, just being completely honest, it's really a tough situation. It's a tough day for Jack. I feel that for that community. That community took a massive blow today or this weekend. And it's going to be interesting to see how they regroup.
And that's part of the problem. And then I'll let you move on. Not just that community. It's not just Jackson State. Like Cuz has been saying, it's not just Jackson State.
Very much true.
HBCU community in its entirety took a blow today.
Yep.
Yesterday.
I
saw a video.
Go ahead.
Of the celebration, trophy celebration what was it, the SWAC championship?
Yeah.
And as they were, trying to get the team and the trophy up on stage to do that, there's a video of Deion Sanders standing in the back corner of the stage with his hands on his hips, and apparently they were taking too long, and he was like, "Let's go, let's get this thing going." You can read his lips. Let's go, let's get this thing going.
Right, yeah, plane to catch.
He was ready to wrap it up.
Yeah, he had a plane to catch. Because he was in Boulder that night, touring the facility. That video we showed was from that night.
Yeah, that was the night of the SWAC championship.
Yeah.
Let me add this in because I'm from Jackson, Mississippi.
Really?
Born and raised, right?
Born and raised.
Yeah.
Cornbread fed. Listen, when the rumors started going around that man was going to leave Texas, the DFW area, which is where I reside now, and go to Jackson, Mississippi, I said, y'all crazy as hell. Why did I say that? Because I know what's there. I know what's not there. I know how hurting the city is. So why would this man leave his lifestyle in the DFW, go to Jackson, Mississippi? He told us the reason why he was doing it, because it was all about the sacrifice for the people, not for himself, but for the people. So when I thought about it, I said, there's no way he's going to go. When he went to Colorado, in his speech, I don't know if you guys listened to the whole speech. I did, Mama Noise. It was hard to listen to, but I listened to it because I don't have no ill will against a man at all. I swear I don't.
I ain't listening to that shit.
So I listened to the whole thing. One of the things he said in there was that when he stepped off the plane in Boulder, Colorado, and I've been to Boulder, Colorado many, many, many times. You talking about beautiful. There's some kind of beautiful up there in them mountains, boy. Oh, it's pretty. The air is crisp and the mountains and the views and the pine tree, the pinyon trees. It's just such a beautiful place. He said we stepped off the plane. He saw all the beauty in the air and the weather, and he said that there is no or very little crime.
He did say that.
Now that was a shot at Jackson, Mississippi.
Yeah.
Because he had been mugged, robbed, ripped off twice.
But ain't the place where the boy went up there and shot up the grocery store in Colorado?
There's crime in Colorado, but there's very little crime in Boulder.
Yeah.
Boulder is an upper class, Mama Noise. It's up, 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 up.
Is Boulder near Denver or no?
It's about 35 miles west of Denver.
So it's like the Plano of Denver or the Frisco of Denver. Yeah. Gotcha.
Up. It ain't just elevation up, it's up in income. So when he said that, I thought to myself, I say, if I was him, I wouldn't have never left Dallas. But if I was him, I damn sure would have got the hell out of Jackson. But I wouldn't have made the promises that he made. I wouldn't have said the things that he said.
That part.
I'm telling you, it's the equivalent of finding the quote unquote ugly duckling girl, turning her into a
Before we get too far along, keep your finger on your thought.
Okay.
Boulder, Colorado's crime rate indicates that they are only safer than 6% of U.S. cities.
Well, listen, I think I said on this here podcast the other night or some show, I think it was this podcast. There's crime in there's property crime in every city.
It's everywhere.
There's property crime in every zip code. And that's what they're talking about there in Boulder, is property crime. They're not talking about murder, she wrote, like you do there in Jackson, Mississippi.
No, 361 violent crimes. 4,423 property crimes. The violent crime is at 3.33 per 1,000. The national average is 4. Denver is 4.26
Murder
per 1,000. Well, I mean,
because you have to keep in mind that Boulder is also a college town. So those college students do what? They get drunk and they do what? They fight.
I was gonna say the
the population is only 108,000 too.
I was gonna say, and then the problem with the definition is crime. Like, what are we calling crime? Are we saying it's robberies? Are we saying it's murder? Are we saying
he's talking about a
shooting? Or are we just talking about
they had 2 murders, 35 rapes, 74 robberies, 250 assaults.
Listen, Jackson, Mississippi population ain't but 100,000 also. And I guarantee you that murder rate is a whole lot more than 2.
Yeah. Let me address Uncle Benny real quick. He said, should Prime be allowed to coach in the Celebration Bowl? The problem with where Jackson State is right now is that they are stuck. They don't have no choice but to let them coach. Because if Shador sits out and Travis sits out and the rest of the players that are probably headed to Colorado decide to sit out, because they got to declare for the transfer portal at some point. And if they declare prior to this game and don't play, Jackson has 0 chance to win that game.
Why did they have to announce it before the Celebration Bowl? Why did
that was part of my questioning as well. Like, why wouldn't you, if you're gonna break this girl's heart, why not break it privately and in a more decent way?
Yeah, let me bust a bubble and say the only time, Dion, you can catch this flight is
well, he didn't catch no flight. Now they sent the plane.
They had private jet.
But I'm saying, okay, private jet. He's catching the flight, and I'm saying, in order for him to get on the plane, it had to be at this moment. It couldn't wait. You couldn't just tell him you're gonna have to wait on me.
Well, here's the problem of why they did what they did, Mama Noise, and this is the reality. And now we can definitively say this is probably a reality. It wasn't just Colorado that made an offer. There were several schools that made offers. Cincinnati actually made an offer to Dion before they made an offer to the coach they have now settled on. We know that as fact. South Florida made an offer. There are some others that are undisclosed, but you can kind of surmise who they are at this point, because you're gonna see them filling up their conferences. Because the South Florida coach accepted his job hours after Dion accepted the Colorado job. So Dion was 1A for a lot of these schools. So that's why Colorado was like, we got to get this done before he decides to go somewhere else.
I would put my thumb in the dike and move on. This is not anything malicious, but we want to go ahead and get started in the next chapter of Jackson State football. So we wish you well, Mr. Dion, Coach Prime, but we need you to have that office cleaned out by midnight Monday so that TC can start preparing a game plan for the celebration.
I agree, 100%. And I would take the L. I would just take the L. Listen, if Shadur's leaving, if Travis is leaving, and all these guys are leaving, we just take the L and regroup. I personally wouldn't let Louisville, who lost their coach today, and it's amazing how the dominoes fell. But Louisville, who lost their coach today because Dion chose Colorado, so Cincinnati decided to go in Louisville's backyard to take that coach. They decided to tell Coach Satterfield, since Louisville was going to be playing Cincinnati, irony, they said, you can't coach that game. It's tough, man. You know, the old song said there's no easy way to break somebody's heart. It's even worse when you were their first love. You know what it feels like? It feels like Jackson State was the girl that never got chose for anything, didn't look very good, just She's just plain old girl. And he came in and said, I see your potential. And he showed her a life she never knew. And dressed her up, put her in nice clothes and red bottoms and all that shit. And she looked good and beautiful. And then all of a sudden it was like, well, gotta go. We got a button for that too, by the way.
Oh my gosh.
Or some of y'all might want us to go more extreme.
Savage! I'm a savage! Oh!
Either one probably works. So anyway, we have breaking news right now. The actress Kirstie Alley from Cheers has died from an undisclosed cancer battle. She is 71. She was 71. Most known for her time on the sitcom Cheers and the movies Look Who's Talking, or the series Look Who's Talking. Is it a series? It's not a series. I guess it's a trilogy. Look Who's Talking. But yeah, she has passed from this life.
Wow.
We send our thoughts and prayers to
I was just watching a show last night with her on it.
Really? Wow.
I mean, it's out of all, you know, like you watching a particular series or something, and then there's different people, not too many stars rather, but there, you know, different people or whatever. I was watching my show, Cold Case.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, main character, Kirstie Alley, last night.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow.
Tough situation there. Any more thoughts in regards to Mr. Sanders? Cuz are you gonna go home and try to help the community heal the wounds of the circumstances?
Did I do it before him?
Oh wow.
Oh mercy.
Remember, I have no ill will towards the man for doing what he did.
Right.
Take care of his family. That's up to him.
It's up to him.
The only issue is the bill of goods that you sold. And Black people, we have to realize ourselves that we don't need to follow any white models on success in this country. We have to understand that we are obligated, committed one to another, to do right by one another, to lift up one another. We could solve a lot of our problems if we would just do right by each other and understand that my success is not about me. It's about showing someone else how they can be successful, or even blessing someone else to be successful.
You know,
we have a different connection with ourselves. See, white folks don't need to be uplifted. Hell, they were uplifted through the Constitution. You have to understand the depressed state, and that may offend some Black people because they feel like we ain't depressed. Okay, that's fine. But you have to understand the depressed state that most of us are in our community. And that in order for us to really come out of that, that's going to take some sacrifices on somebody's part to lift us up. He was doing that.
Yeah. Is it going to take? So let's stay there for just a second. Is it going to take a savior for us to make, or maybe we should table this to tomorrow? This is a pretty good discussion.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I heard your comment earlier about we don't need another Martin Luther King.
Well, my thing is, it feels like we get stunted because that's what we're waiting for. We're waiting for somebody to come along and quote unquote lead us out. Somebody who knows the way, show us the way out, show us the way to a better life and a better And because we think that person is going to come along,
you don't think the white community has always had that?
no, they don't seem to wait on that.
Oh, they had it, but they had it.
Not a singular savior to save them all.
It was called all them white presidents they had. See, they always had something to look up to. Oh yeah, Barack Obama showed us that we too. Now, some of us didn't catch on to it, but we too can be whatever we wanted to be. Without him, we would have continued to believe that this is a white president only society.
But that's not really what I guess that's a different thing that I'm saying. I'm saying, and the reason why I use the Martin Luther King analogy is because Martin was the only guy who mobilized us to action, constant and consistent action for our well-being as a community. He and Malcolm to some degree, more so Martin than Malcolm, but they mobilized us to action. Whereas, and we keep waiting on somebody to do it again.
We
thought that was going. Huh?
We've had others.
We've had some others, but nobody to sustain it long enough for it to get us all the way, quote unquote, out. And then when the George Floyd situation happened, we were like, okay, maybe we don't need it, and maybe we can finally get something going. Whereas, and now, I don't know, it just seems like we're waiting on it, and while we're waiting on it, we're not willing to do the actual work that it takes to create the change that we need.
Well, I have a problem with your word "waiting on it" because I absolutely believe that each black man has to do his part for his circle in order.
Well, then you don't have a problem with me. You don't have a problem with what I'm saying, because I'm saying the same thing that you're saying. I'm saying, but it feels like we're waiting on it, whereas we should not be waiting on it.
No. Damn it! You're not saying the same thing I'm saying.
What am I saying different, cuz? Or is this the part of the show where we create a conflict?
I said the problem I have with your statement is the waiting part. I never had a problem with your whole statement. I have a problem with the waiting because
so do I.
Because it's not. I have a problem with the statement waiting. I don't think we're waiting. I think.
Then what are we doing? Why won't we do the work?
I think many of us are doing what it takes. You're doing it. B's doing it with his kids. Plenty of black men.
Right. Yeah.
We're not waiting. We're doing our part, and our part must continue to be done. But does there need to be a leader? I believe so. Just listen. Most people are followers. Let's just be honest.
They are.
Black, white, Jew, Gentile, Protestant, Catholic. Most people are followers. So they need somebody to follow.
Do we? But we tried that. But we tried that. Like the last decade was about following Black Lives Matter. That hasn't worked out too well.
Mr. Noiz, there are black men right now that are following your example of fatherhood and being a husband.
Okay.
They're following it. They may never tell you. They may never come and say, man, listen, I appreciate the example you set. But I guarantee you, people are emulating, following your example.
Okay.
We need leadership on the broad issue of change.
So I'm going to build off your example that you just said. I think that same thing about you, and I think that same thing about Al, and I think that same thing about Ron. Is it more effective to have many leaders than it is to have a singular leader? Because we've just seen what happens when you have a singular leader to lead a movement. If that singular leader decides, I ain't trying to lead y'all no more. I'm mute out.
I'm sorry. That's part of the problem. We did not allow any supportive cast to grow. He bailed before Eddie George was even groomed. We can't fully buy into TSU until we are assured that JSU is on solid foundation, and then we move on to TSU, and then we move on to Morgan State, and then we move on to Grambling, and then when we get to the very end, whatever's left, we kind of help out KSU.
Right, whatever we got left.
Yeah, whatever we got left. We help Kentucky State. So
right.
I don't think we were afforded enough time. Like I said in my analogy, we were put on the ship. We said we were going to go on this exploratory journey, and somehow or another the captain jumped ship with the blueprint, the map, and so now we got to figure this thing out.
He said, "Y'all good? Y'all good?"
I'll be right back.
What do you mean? Are we good? No, we're not good.
I'm gonna go ashore and get us some fresh water. I'll be right back.
I would like to end my statement with this. I think I know I said part of it earlier, that this man has exemplified a heart for people for a very long time.
Yes, no question.
Not only his own family. The man didn't just raise his own kids. He's taking care of others in his family. He has always had a heart for others. And I still believe he does have that heart for others. So I'm not trying to castrate him. I'm not trying to put him down. I just believe that he made a huge blunder of an opportunity to change the game. That's it.
And I'll offer this as a closing statement. His success is still important to us.
Oh, yes.
As a coacher, his success is still important to Black coaches who desire to make coaching a lifelong profession. So his success is still important to us as a culture. And also in my closing statement, I think I think it was intentional. We focused so much on Deion going to BC, and there's very little talk about making sure Herschel Walker don't make it to DC.
Yeah.
So let us not be distracted by the Deion issues and forget that there's still work to be done tomorrow.
Yes, Georgia.
In Georgia. So
we need y'all to show up for this
buffoonery needs to be put to bed. So
once and for all. Amen, Al. Amen. Mama Noy, what you got to say about that?
I agree. I think that it's no coincidence that this can be a distraction if we allow it. And it is, all eyes is on Deion Sanders. So you did this to Jackson. You better go up there and do whatever it is that you better do even the better. I mean, you better pull out all the stops. It better be something spectacular.
Can I ask a question? And I apologize because I probably should know the answer to this, but I don't. Has a Black man won a national championship ever? I don't think they have they?
In college?
Yeah.
I don't know. Somebody in the chat mentioned that he was the first. He's going to be the first guy to. I mean, there's been Black coaches in college, but I mean, Is he gonna be the first one to?
We're in a conundrum with this situation because we got to root for him. He can't fail.
No,
we can't. We can't let him fail. If we're being honest, we can't let him fail. We got to do everything we can to support him.
That's why that's where I find fault with Dr. Cosby. Yeah. We need him to still succeed.
What is Pastor Noise talking about in the chat?
Let's see. He said, I'm more concerned about what is Kentucky going to do about the white woman living in Bowling Green that falsely accused Emmett Till of making the. Well, listen. Does she live in Bowling Green?
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know it was.
That was discovered. Kind of caused them to cancel their annual Christmas parade. So her whereabouts have been discovered. Carolyn Rudolph, I think, is the name she's going by.
Bowling Green is a honeycomb hideout.
She's probably about to get up through there.
I mean, listen.
And she did make several false accusations, but some of them were accurate, as testified by his own relatives who were present in the store. Emmett did whistle at her.
Right.
But he didn't have a conversation with her or approach her or nothing like that. So I heard so, and the reason I said that is because somebody said that they were going to go down to Bowling Green. She was a liar. And like, no, not all of it was lies. Some of it was true. He absolutely didn't deserve what he got. But.
No, right.
Goodness gracious. Wow.
Bowling Green. She chose to live in Bowling Green?
I mean,
hey, why not?
Is the honeycomb
in witness protection? You think she's not in federal
protective custody?
Come on, man.
I tell you what, if the federal government is spending money to protect her, well, our federal government is hot garbage.
Yes, they tell is.
Bruh, it was the federal agency that
That's
investigated the police, that investigated the initial crime.
Well, I would say this: if she can prove that there are viable threats to her life, then she's supposed to be protected by the government.
Bullshit.
Just like any other citizen, if someone is threatening your life, viable threats. I mean, coming not just social media, but there are threats on your life, and you contacted the FBI and let them know that there are threats, then they should investigate that just like any other citizen.
Oh, she's with relatives. Pastor Court is now starting a boycott of the White Houses in Bowling Green.
What the?
Now, I don't think she should have Secret Service. They shouldn't be hiding her out, but they should, investigate any threats on her life just like anybody else.
Can I ask a question? This might seem like a crazy question, but I'm just going to ask. Do black people want to kill her like that? Because normally that ain't what we do. We might be pissed at it, but we don't be like, don't let me catch you in the street.
Well, black people ain't the same anymore, bro. Because remember, there used to be a time where we would hear crazed employee shoots up Walmart and weak man and white folk then gone.
Right. That's true.
There used to be a time where we would hear man kills wife and 2 teenage daughters, then shoots himself. Man, them white folk then gone nutty. And what do we find out? Black man.
Yeah.
So things are
threats
changing.
were not against her, threats were against the people who were going to protest. Okay. So they were trying to protect, were the people protesting racist or the people protesting her?
They were protesting her.
Oh, so that's why they shut the thing down. Got you. Now that makes more sense. You say, well, we don't normally just be
gonna keep hiding out in the
yeah. All right.
If I was that's where I'd go, Bowling Green.
So y'all started this today, and I was wondering where the conversation. I tried sometime to let the Monday conversation guide us into the Tuesday discussion. So this is good. A moment or a movement? What are we talking about? What lessons can be learned from all of this? And what do we need as Black people? A moment or a movement? We've had moments, but none of them have really led to movements. How do we get a movement started? So, because my last question is about you. Are you gonna be okay?
He gonna be all right. You hear me? You hear me?
My last question to you is you gonna be okay? Because you heard what I said, goddamn.
Well, I've always known that them folks in Mississippi was trying to get rid of some of them extra curricular eyes. So you just threw ears in front of them.
Is you gonna be okay? Because them
Here
Giants
it come.
Them Giants ain't gonna make the playoffs.
Here he go.
That's a numbers game. That's a numbers game, bro.
Can I tell you something?
It's a numbers game.
You were the same guy that said Dion would never leave, so you are not a credible source.
Them Giants ain't gonna.
You are not a credible source.
Look at it. Look at it. Look at the rest of your games. You're gonna be on the outside.
At all. Listen. Not a credible source at all.
Mr. IB, would you tell the man they don't have?
And by the way, if they don't, I said from the beginning, I've maintained the same thought process. I'm okay. We're ahead of schedule.
Is you gonna be okay?
Who's ahead of schedule?
We're ahead of schedule.
The Giants?
Yes.
How?
Because we weren't even supposed to be in a playoff race period this year. We're rebuilding.
Why would you say that?
Because it's the truth.
What are y'all missing?
We have no receiving core whatsoever. We got one guy that can catch a football. One. With a WR by his name. One. So we got some work to do. We knew that. We're not tripping.
Yeah, it's obvious. Y'all tied the Washington Commanders. So it's obvious.
Right. Listen, we understand what we are and who we are.
And that's why
but nevertheless, all four teams from the NFC East still might make the playoffs.
They still might make the playoffs. That's exactly right.
The Giants.
That's all good. Now I understand Cuz likes to hate, and that's fine. He is the most unbalanced Cowboy fan I've ever seen. And what's ironic about this is that he and I have this conversation every year. Every year. He hates on the Giants. They can't do this. They can't do that. The Cowboys. And then we right back in the same place where we sit on the same couch watching the same Super Bowl.
And it's pretty much true. Y'all. When was the last time y'all beat us?
It's been a long time. When's the last time y'all had a significant playoff run?
Super Bowl. Is that what you want to say? Super Bowl?
Oh
I
my
said
God.
Super Bowl or significant playoff run. Super Bowl is too far. That's too long. That's decades. Now we're talking
Beating up on the Giants 5 years in a row is enough. That's better than any playoff.
That's better than the Super Bowl?
It's better than a playoff win.
Uh-oh.
It's going to have to be because that's all you got.
As long as New York understands they still are stepchild.
Hey, listen, we'll be that this year.
5 years.
It may not be that forever, but we'll be that
5 years. Say it with me. 5 years.
We'll say it with you. Listen, y'all whooped us. But we coming, though, and y'all know we coming.
Seahawks, boy,
y'all know. I like it. It's cute.
He said Seahawks.
No, listen. That boy is the comeback player of the year. It's not even close right now. Not even close.
Hey,
Geno Smith is the comeback player of the year, and it's not.
I love it. I love his story. But are y'all about to sign Baker?
Hell no. I'm sorry. Listen.
I think he ends
bad.
up in Denver.
Hey, it's bad, but it ain't dire.
I think he ends up in Denver.
You think that? Wait a minute. You think they're gonna replace Russell with?
I think they are going to put him on the roster to motivate Russell Wilson.
No, I think he's going to San Francisco. I think he's got to go to San Francisco.
Oh, Garoppolo is out for the season.
Yeah. He's got to go to San Francisco. That's the only signing that makes.
And Baltimore, Lamar's week to week.
Yeah, but they got a decent backup.
Man, how much would that eat at Cam if Baker and Lamar were on the same roster?
And he's his backup. Baker may go unclaimed. Let's be clear. He may go unclaimed.
What's that other kid that ended up over in the XF USFL?
Oh, Mr. Money. Show me the money. Johnny Manziel.
Manziel.
Show me the money.
He's giving out big Manziel energy.
He is.
Yeah. So, all right, people, we've had a wonderful time. Everybody stick around for a minute. I got a quick announcement for y'all. So, but the rest of y'all, we'll see y'all tomorrow and for a really, really good show. It'll be a fun show. Talk That Tuesday. Y'all know what we do on Talk That Tuesday. So, shout out to Pastor Core. Appreciate you. Shout out to Uncle Benny and the rest of everybody watching on all the platforms: LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter. Y'all was in here tonight. Folk had some things to say. They had some things on their mind. So I get it. All right. We'll see y'all tomorrow.
We're talking noise. Talking noise.